What's your basic checklist for appraising a property?
Well, the first thing to do is also make sure the person who contacts you is the person that's selling the property. We've had situations where that's not been the case, and I can tell you long stories which maybe we'll talk about off screen afterwards. I first of all sound them out, make sure I know what they're looking for before I go. And then when we do go along, we take with our advert pack, our media pack with our voucher. And then I go around the house with them, make sure that it's presented as well as it can be. And many a time I've had to tell people, and it's a hard thing to do, make sure your beds are made, make sure the dog isn't in the kitchen and so on and so forth, dishes out the sink. From a checklist point of view, I take with me a plethora of knowledge of history in the area. I'm very, very localised. I started in Edgware in '73, came to Hendon in '76, and been in between Hendon and Golders Green until now, which is in a total 48 years. I nearly know every property in the area, so it's a self-effacing checklist, and maybe we'll talk about this later, but there are now tools available for online valuations, which I don't take any credit with at all. I think, and you and I talked about this online earlier. I check the properties, make sure that they're presenting well, that they've got all the right features for what they need to be, and then give them as much advice as I can of bringing it a curb appeal, which is standard stuff, obviously, and obviously discuss them, fees and so on and so forth, and make sure they know the service.
Over £2 billion a year is overpaid on stamp duty, with up to a quarter of purchasers paying the wrong amount. From millionaire developers to residential homeowners, anyone may be affected by these errors. Contact us today to see if you have overpaid your stamp duty and owed a refund from HMRC.
At the moment, my phone's here on the floor below me. It's pulling at me to do things, and that's the service you get with Dreamview Estates, to make sure that we're responding, and this is what I will be telling them, as immediately as we can be.
Yes. I mean, the temptation has been with the rise of these property platforms for people to have a go themselves. And indeed, I mean, you know, in my video we said that there's a danger you might underprice it and not realise the value, and you won't know that. And my late father has always said, you know, like, I could ring my late father and say, I'm on this street, and he would say, I know who built it, I know exactly the styles of properties on there. What number are you at? Oh, that's a dormer bungalow. You go, God, you're right, Dad.
If I can tell you, many a day I get a phone call, usually around about 5 o'clock, by surveyors, valuers, for lenders, asking for me and my opinion, and I have exactly the same rapport with them, and that's why they phone me, because I've got an encyclopedia of knowledge. I can almost tell them which house they're looking at, and if I haven't seen it to value it, I've either sold it in the past or someone else has told me about it. I've got radar eyes, I know what goes on, and it's stayed there. What I wish was, when I was 11 years old and 16 and 17, I'd taken that into university with me, because I never was that clever then.